Hey guys, welcome to another edition of our Children's Ministry podcast, the only podcast that you will watch that has a piñata. And so I'm not even going to get into the story of the piñata, but there is delicious candy in there. And so if you are ever walking by my office with a baseball bat with the piñata, you're welcome to take a swing at it and see if you can get any candy. Anyway, what I wanted to do with our time is just talk about 3 little things that will make a big difference in your ministry. All of us that are serving in our children's ministry, we want to make a difference, we want to impact kids' lives, but we're all busy. And we all have family responsibilities, work responsibilities, and other ministries that we're involved in. So how can we make a big difference with the time that we have? And so there's 3 things that I want to share with you today that I think will help you make a big difference, but that won't necessarily take a lot of time. And so the first little thing that makes a big difference in kids' lives and in just anybody's life in ministry are handwritten notes. If you want to make a big difference, if you want to contribute a little thing that makes a big difference, handwritten note is top of my list. And that is something that's very uncommon in our world today. A lot of times we send emails or texts or Facebook messages, which are all great. Those are all really good things to do, and I'm not trying to belittle those, but there's something about getting a handwritten note that speaks volumes to the person that you are sending that note to. I know it's very rare for me to get handwritten notes, but when I do, I treasure those because I know they take more work and they take more effort, and a lot of times when they come in the mail, they cost money. When we send an email or a text or any kind of other social media message, they typically don't really cost us anything or don't cost a lot, but a handwritten note takes time to write and it costs money to mail. And so what I've even done, you don't need to go to this length, is I've even created just kind of even my own little stationery that I write different notes on. And some of you may have even gotten a note from me on this stationery, so this may look familiar to you. But taking a minute to write a handwritten note to thank someone for helping you out on the weekend, whether that's a fellow volunteer or writing a short note to a kid just saying, hey, I'm so glad that you were there this weekend. It was fun hanging out with you. It was good talking to you. Look forward to seeing you next weekend. Something like that. It doesn't need to be long. It doesn't need to take a lot of time to write, but it is something that will make a huge difference. And I know for me, I will sometimes save encouraging texts and emails, but I almost always save encouraging handwritten notes. In fact, I have a trunk full of them that I've collected over the maybe 15 years or so that I have been in children's ministry back when I started as a volunteer when I was a sophomore in high school. I have a trunk full of different cards from kids and other leaders and parents and staff members that I've received over the years, and I save those, and periodically I will go back in and actually reread some of those. So one little thing that makes a big difference is a handwritten note. Something else, another little thing that makes a big difference is going to events. And so if you know of a child that has maybe a little league game or a recital or something like that, I would encourage you to go to that game or that recital. And there's something about when kids see us in the real world, when they see us outside of church, that makes a big impact on them. And it also makes a very big impact on parents because it says, hey, so-and-so is involved in my child's life, they're invested, and they're willing to come take their own time away from their family and their friends and their hobbies and their work and their stuff to come to my kids' stuff. And so not only does that win good points with kids, it shows them that you care, but it also shows mom and dad that you are invested and that you are in this for the long haul with them. One other little thing that will make a big difference in your ministry is encouraging parents. And one way that I like to do that, if I've seen a kid that has either made some improvement or it just went above and beyond, I will take a minute at checkout to pull them aside with their parents and say, hey, I just want to let you know that your son, that Billy, he just did an amazing job today. And here's what he did. And I will give something specific, not so much general like, oh, he did great, he did good. But Billy was great with sharing today in a small group, or he helped me get the supplies that I needed to run this group, or he was great with this object lesson that I taught, or I noticed that he was very kind to so-and-so. And so I will go out of my way to share that, and I will do that in front of the child. And that does a couple of things. One, it wires me up to look for the positive. a lot of times when we notice things with kids, it tends to be negative. And not because we're so negatively focused, but that tends to rise to the surface quicker. And so that wires me up to look more for the positive. It affirms the child. It goes, wow, Jeff really cared about this, or that made it different. And so it reinforces a positive behavior that I want them to repeat. And it just affirms mom and dad. Without me saying it, communicates you are doing a good job parenting your child. And here's how I've seen that. And so those are 3 little things that will make a big difference in your ministry. And I want to encourage you this week to pick maybe just one of those things. Don't feel like you need to do all 3 every single week, but maybe this week you write an encouraging note to a kid. Maybe next week you go to a gamer or to a recital. Maybe the week after that you pull one parent aside and you encourage their child in front of them. And so don't feel like you need to cram all of them into every week, but do one a week. And I would encourage you to do that. And those are 3 little things that will make a big difference in your ministry.